think this is probably the worst organised open day I've attended from any government ministry. There was no format, there was no session, the panel was impromptu, there was no briefing papers for anyone, there was nothing. You just come and it's a free-for-all. It's disappointing. It's disappointing especially when the panelists told us that they have been preparing for this for nearly 2 years. And yet this is the result that we are getting. I think there were the atmosphere was clear, and that a lot of people are unhappy. It was fairly hostile, and the most disappointing thing was there was no representative from Mosti and the panel to answer questions. This is a bill to be presented by the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, and yet there was no one responsible to actually answer questions in the panel, and that's completely ridiculous. I mean, who is the CEO of PICO? I mean, I respect him in his position, the professors, but these are just advisors. They don't speak on behalf of the ministry. So how can the ministry who is presenting this bill not have a representative answering questions from the public? Because whatever the panelists say, they are not binding on the ministry or the government. So essentially the day could be considered just a easy come, easy go session where there's no commitment at all from the ministry to present its views. I think the Computing Professionals Bill proposed by Mosti is the best example of an impossible attempt to regulate the impossible. Okay, it is an impossible attempt to regulate the impossible. Now, why is it regulating the impossible? The impossible because the whole IT industry is so vast, so pervasive that it is impossible to define. Computing is everywhere now. Computing is in your car, it's in your handphone, it's even involved in the distribution of rice around the country. So everything is about computing today. It covers all your life, from your watch, everything is about computing. So you are trying to regulate something that's so pervasive around the country, it is downright impossible. Okay, so it is an impossible attempt, and the draft bill is an ill-conceived, impossible attempt by the government to regulate the impossible. The proposed bill fails because the limits and scope of the law cannot be strictly defined as the industry changes over time. No, one of the reasons why you cannot define the CNII is very simple, the Critical National Information Infrastructure. Is because what is a Critical National Information Infrastructure? That will change over time. That will change over time, and that is large. Computing services today will include web designers, setting up blogs, anyone producing animated flash games for your Facebook. In fact, with seamless integration of a simple word processor, Microsoft Word, you can now publish online. That itself is a computing activity. So even your clerks becomes computing practitioners. Okay? The definition of critical national information infrastructure will be equally impossible to define, as it would and could encompass any industry from government sector to financial services to telecommunications, or even an airline or transportation industry. Okay, surely a failure of any of these industries will have a devastating impact on national economic strength. And it's clear from the session just now, no one wanted to define CNII, even though it is the crux of the bill. No, the whole bill is around CNII, but no one was able to give a definition on CNII. Okay, putting the two indefinable terms together will result only in absurd outcomes. An advertising agency offering web design services for a bank will have to become a registered computing services provider, or a technician providing maintenance services of computer hardware to a government office will have to be registered as a registered computing professional. Okay, whichever applicable. What is unimaginable, I think I mentioned this during my question just now, would be for Microsoft to have all its computer programmers in the United States registered with the Board of Computing Professionals in Malaysia before the company could sell its software to entities providing CNII in the country. Because I'm sure CNII buy Microsoft Word, other Microsoft products, or IBM products, or Sun products, in their company. And all these are developed overseas. So do all their engineers have to be certified by the board before the CNII entities can buy? Okay? The bill and the bureaucracy to be created with the implementation will become an utter waste of resources for both the government and the industry. Registration of practitioners or professionals does not guarantee the quality of the professionals and will not necessarily meet industry standards. Okay, as I asked just now. setting up a board is one thing. Getting unemployed graduates employed is another thing altogether. It doesn't tie in. In fact, the implementation of such a bill will only lead to an exodus of talents. You can tell people don't like to be restrained, okay, and they'll go to other countries because computer talent is mobile. Okay, finally, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and hundreds of others did not succeed because they registered with a board of computing professionals in United States or anywhere else in the world. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg, in case you don't know, is the founder of Facebook. Okay. On the contrary, their success is based precisely on an environment which encourages unrestrained creativity, breeding innovation without the leash. The Malaysian government will do well to admit the mistake that is the Computing Professional Bill and withdraw the thought of ever tabling the bill in Parliament. I mean, they are trying to say that CNI is only for very few applications, industries and stuff. Okay. Then the question then is, even if you can define it as such limited industry, then it's like you have an entire board being set up just to regulate for that tiny segment of industry. Doesn't that look like an overkill? You know, then why open up to all the computing professionals out there? I think the International Undersole Accord for general understanding is basically what you teach in universities. Okay, the large is basically your content of your syllabus, whether in certifications or in universities and colleges diploma. So as a say software engineering graduate, what should you at least have learned to be qualified? Okay, that's nothing to do with the board. That's everything to do with our higher education system, which have a lot of fixing to do. Even they admitted our higher education system have got a lot of problems with the software engineering. Okay, so that one needs to be sorted by MOHE and the government and the universities. They are trying to regulate industry purely from a cost perspective. You don't certify them, you just certify people who are software engineers. Now, I can be a software consultant without being a software engineer. But in their perspective, everyone is lumped in as computing professionals. Okay? So Sale of Court doesn't say that I cannot be a professional. Sale of Court just says that an software engineering course needs to cover all these points. But what the board is trying to do is, doesn't matter whether you're a software engineer or you're a software consultant or project manager, okay, involved in the software industry, you have to be a registered practitioner or professional. And that's a completely different issue.
Do you think that the board is the wrong tool to fulfill the objective they stated, which is the Sole Accord?
It is absolutely unnecessary. In fact, what you do is you may end up certifying those who can't do it, and then those who can do it don't get certified. And that is the problem for the industry. Now, as you can tell, a lot of them inside wouldn't have the necessary certifications or qualification to be certified immediately. It's not an accord to cover more than that. Otherwise, you have all your PricewaterhouseCoopers, Anderson Consulting, Accenture, KWSP, all these people staff their software, the IT team with non-engineers as well. Yeah. You know, so otherwise all of them will not, all around the world.